Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us again on the Lights Too Bright podcast. For those who are joining us, please do like, share, and follow. And today's guest is someone who I first crossed paths with a decade ago. She was a third-year optometry student at City University, and she was unfortunate enough to have me as a clinical supervisor in patient clinics. I have been told I might have been a bit harsh on people, but hey, that's the way it is. Anyway, and then we kind of lost touch. Me moving to Northampton, and we're just being in different circles. But she reached out, got a lovely story to share, and felt that it could help inspire, some of our colleagues and friends to do different things, because sometimes we just don't know how to get to where we want to get. So I'm very honored that you've chosen to join us. I want to thank you for actually listening to the pod also. I mean, you're probably that one person who listens to the episode.
I'm sure that's true.
So with great pleasure, I'd just like to say hello, Seema Raunier.
Hello, it's
How are
Raunier.
you? I knew I was going to get it wrong. Probably should have asked you that before I started recording. But I'm just going to call you Seema now anyway. So we'll get over that. So Seema, again, like I said, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it, taking the time. So what do you do now? I mean, it's like I said, it's been about a decade since we've really crossed paths. We met each other randomly in between, didn't we?
Yeah, we
A
did.
conference or
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah. So what's your role?
Yeah. So at the moment, I've got a little bit of a portfolio career going on at the moment. So
What does that mean for those? Yeah, what does that mean? Because you hear it, and I don't know if everyone understands what a portfolio career is.
it's doing like varied things basically. So I basically chose the things that I like doing, and basically have I looked into how to get into these things, and I'm doing that now. So I'm quite happy with what I'm doing. It's good variation. So at the moment, I work in community. I also work at the hospital as specialist optometrist, working in pediatrics clinics, contact lens fitting sclerals, urgent eye care, and the corneal clinics. So I do that one day a week. And then in my other time, I'm on the LOC, so Hertfordshire LOC. So just doing a couple of projects with them. Also college counsellor for the College of Optometrists for the East of England. So I do some work for them as well. And I'll also set up my own. Basically, I trustee with two other of my friends, and we set up the Harpenden Hindu Association. And basically, I just do a bit of everything and doing the things that I'm passionate about, basically.
Nice. And then obviously you got the family to look after and things like
Family, yeah.
that.
I've got two. Yeah, so I got two kids. They're 4 and 6. So yeah. So life is
Okay.
busy. But I love it.
That's and variety can very much be the spice of life, and I get it. I mean, I am someone who is very easily bored, me personally, and I needed to juggle things. I couldn't. I struggled to be in a consulting room 5 days a week. I couldn't do it. And I guess I have even though I'm a business owner and spend quite a bit of time consulting in my own consulting room, I probably guess I have a bit of a portfolio career, but just doing different things. So so at least we know where you are now. And so it'll be interesting to know how you got here and where, and what you do, what you really like, what you don't like. Where did it start? Were you always going to be an optometrist? Is like what got you into optometry?
So no, I didn't want to be an optometrist. I think I've heard that repeatedly on all of your podcasts. And it's so funny because, a lot of people do go into whatever the career they go into because they're so passionate about it. But it wasn't like I had a wonky eye or anybody else in the family had anything or nothing like that. really, actually, my dad, he was a GP. He did want me to be a doctor, as all Indian parents, like that's the only thing that they think about basically. But and obviously my dad was a GP, so he wanted me to be a GP. He wanted me to be a doctor. So yeah, I did get an offer for medicine, but I missed the grades at A level, and then I decided that I would do biomedical sciences actually. So I did biomedical sciences first, and I thought I'd take the route to try and go into medicine through that way. So I did really well at my degree and everything. I got a first. I was the best student in my year, but I didn't get any offers for medicine. I applied, but I didn't get any offers. So obviously very disappointed about that. My dad was very disappointed too. So then in the end, I decided that, okay, fine. I'm not going to do medicine. Forget it. I don't want, I did think about applying again, but I was just like, no, I'll just do something else. So I always liked the healthcare. Actually, before that, I actually was a accounts sales manager for AstraZeneca. So
Okay.
I actually was like a medical rep basically. So I used to go around to the GPs, and I would basically promote our products to them. So I actually really enjoyed that because I was very social, like meeting new people. I think I had an advantage that my dad was a GP, so all the GPs knew me, so it was quite nice. So yeah, it was. I did really enjoy doing uh, the account sales manager thing, so that was really good. All that time, I was actually quite good at the job itself, and I sometimes do look back and I think, why did I leave it? But I think always deep down in my heart, I was always like, I think I want to be on the other side. I want to be seeing the patients. I want to be helping the patients. So, and obviously, like, I was always into healthcare. I wanted to do, even before that, I was a, what do you call those, healthcare assistant actually at
Yep.
Bupa. Uh, so I've always been into healthcare. So then I decided, okay, with the help of my brother, who's like, look, maybe look at going into optometry. And he's like, there's an aging population, and optometrists are always needed, and it's guaranteed, it's safe, you'll always have a job, blah, blah, blah. Again, I think I've had this reoccurring theme from a lot of people on your podcast from before as well. It's a safe, you want something safe and you want something that's going to pay you. So I decided to go for optometry. And for me, I always thought that optometry, you would be also managing the patient, so prescribing and things like that, and basically from beginning to end, that you would, unless you needed to refer them for something else, that is not uh, within
Hope.
your scope, basically. So yeah, so when I got into optometry, and then when I graduated, um, I was like, this is nothing like what I thought it was going to be. Um, and I did have a plan. I did say, I was like, oh, as soon as I get out, I'll do the IP, the independent prescribing course. And I did think about going to Australia actually, but there was exams for that as well. And bearing in mind, I'd been studying for about 7 years by that time. So with my first degree, biomedical sciences degree, and then plus doing the optometry, which is another 4 years, I was like, I'm sick of studying. I don't really want to study. I don't want to do any exams. I don't want to do anything like that. Never ever going to take an exam again. And I just went into, became an optometrist, and started working. I was pretty happy. Um, you
Who
know,
did you pre-reg with, Seema?
oh, I did my pre-reg with Vision Express. Yeah.
Okay. Where? In
And I was
Hertfordshire.
not in Hertfordshire. So, in Ilford, actually, East London. Yes, it did my training and everything with I was with them for a little while. And then I was happy. I was happy in the role, fine. And then I met my husband, and then I moved to Hertfordshire after that, basically. But I was in Ilford before, living in Ilford as well. So yeah, so basically I moved, and then I moved to another company doing the same thing. I became a pre-reg supervisor, so that was really interesting, mix things up a bit.
Was that something that you chose or something that was pushed
Like,
upon you
no,
kind of thing?
push it on me. No, no. So no, I did want. I always liked teaching, educating, helping others. So yeah, no, that was one of my things that I did want to do. So yeah, as when they said, "Oh, we've got pre-reg student, do you want to supervise them?" I said, "Yeah, of course." So did that for a few years. So I had a couple of students, and that was good. I really enjoyed doing that. Then life just passed by, and then, as you get older, you start getting more problems. Then the kids come
They're
along, and
called kids.
then
The kids are the
yeah,
problem, Seema. That's what you meant. The problem started kids.
the kids come along, and then you need more money, and then you need to adjust your like days and pick the kids up and sort your life out around the kids, and so yeah, so yes, so basically I was doing that for a bit, and then yeah, so when I had my kids, I went through a bit of a low period. So when my second baby was born, child, she was only 5 months, and dad my dad passed away at that time. I basically saw him like deteriorate over like sort of like a 10-year period, like almost grieving in that itself. So 10 years he passed away. Um, and then not long after, my sister-in-law passed away as well. So it was a really like quite a low period, lots of things going on. I had two young kids, and I was at work, and it was just, I think it all kind of just hit me all at one time. So I think like as before I went on maternity leave, um, I was getting this feeling that I didn't really wasn't really enjoying work as much as I used to, and just feeling like optometry is rubbish, basically. So
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"What have I got myself into? Why have I done optometry?" Yeah, so I I just went through a really, really tough period, and I got to the point where my husband was he was very concerned about me. He asked me to basically talk to a GP, get some help. Um, so yeah, I was just feeling really, really low. I was feeling really rubbish about myself. I'm not sure, was I being a good mom? Was I being a good sister, sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, wife, mum? So you're kind of like I think this is something that resonates with a lot of mums. You're trying to juggle so many things at the same time. Plus, I was grieving for my dad and my sister-in-law, and so many things. And I just I wasn't feeling great about my job as well. So when I came back from my maternity leave, I was working and stuff, and then actually when I came back, I was not a pre-reg supervisor anymore because somebody else had come in and they had taken the student. And then after that, we didn't get another student, so I didn't have a pre-reg for. So the pre-reg supervising was really good for me. So it kept me busy, and I felt good about it. So I thought one day I was just sitting in my room and I was thinking, life, oh my God, like I've still got like another 20, 30 years left of working.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, I do I really want to be doing this? Am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? Like just this. So yeah,
Can
I was
I
like,
just ask you one question at that point, only because we've done a lot. So how many years now have you been qualified? Are we talking 5 years? Are we talking 10 years? Can't be
yeah, you're
10 years because
talking,
then
yeah, no, you're talking about around about 10 years actually, because
Okay.
I only started my journey, like going into other things, only around about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So, like, for about 10 years, like, I'm like, obviously in between, like,
Yeah.
I had my kids and stuff when I was
Yeah.
away on maternity leave and things like that. So it wasn't, I didn't, I had other things that I was busy with. So it was only when I came back and I was like, and also I just felt like, I don't just want to be a mum, and I wanted to do more. And so then I basically and I was at a really low point and I really needed to turn it around. So I basically decided, I saw an advert for the LAC to join the committee as an LAC committee member. So I made an application, and I think I've always been like, oh, I think in the past I've wanted to apply for things, but I've always been thought, oh, I'm not good enough for, just, will they even care? Blah, 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 this, that, the other. And then I basically decided that actually, no, I'm going to make an application and see how it goes. And I got it, which was really great. And it was really good. Like, I initially, when I went on onto the LOC, I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what was going on. Like, they were talking about this pathway, that pathway, this governance, that my head was like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And um, as time went by, I basically learned a lot of stuff. It was a huge learning curve for me. Obviously, I knew the basics and stuff, but the nitty gritty, what they were talking about, I started to learn. They sent me on an induction course, a LOXU induction course, which was really good. So that made me, realize what it was all about. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I did that. And then I made an action plan for our LOC and things. And then some of the projects actually from that, doing some of those projects, which I initially wanted to do from when I first started, basically.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's really good. And I've been able to, I'm really grateful to the vice chair and the chair who really believed in me and let me do these projects. So yeah, so I basically found the things that I liked doing, and I approached them and told them that these are the things that I think would work well, and proposed, like, the benefits of it. So I've
So
been doing that.
career wise then, so was it like a hard stop in practice, or did you you were still in practice, but then you took on the LOC role, and then did you you know, build your portfolio slowly, or was it kind of like a hard stop? You're like, I'm just can't, this is just too much at the moment. I need to step away from this setting. Does that make sense? Did you slowly substitute into your,
The LOC. Oh no. So I did, like,
no,
so I
everything?
started everything.
So
No,
like,
it was just, it's basically that. So from the LOC, I started networking with other people, other
okay.
optometrists, and there were lots of other optometrists on the LOC who were doing other things. And I was like, oh wow, like there's a whole different, like, world to optometry. And you know, I asked people how did they get into it, and you know, and then from there, then I was like, oh, actually, I can do other things. So I started looking into other stuff. One of my colleagues on my LOC colleagues then said to me, why don't you why don't you apply for a college counselor role for College of Optometrists? Because I think you'd be quite good at it, because quite good at engaging, talking, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, let's give it a go. Again, I was like, and my confidence has slowly built. I went from like a really low period to like slowly stepping up, stepping up, stepping up, not being afraid. And, every time I would be at the start, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I'm going to get it. Or, that sort of thing. And so I applied for the College of Optometrists, the counselor role. It was actually an application that you have to give in, and then you're voted actually for it. So I was like, oh my God, like, and I was looking at the other people that I was up against, and I was like, oh, I'm just an LOC, just work for the LOC, and like, I'm just an optometrist, right? And actually, I think which is, and I think this is a really good point to make, is, because I've always had really good contacts and really good relationships with all my colleagues in the past. Everybody who I've met, I've always kept in touch with them, and they've remembered me for things that I've done for them. So I think, yeah, it's definitely pays off to be a good person and a nice person to people, because they do remember you. And I
Yeah.
was so overwhelmed by I didn't think, I was like, I don't think I'm going to get this, but I did, and I was voted on for the council role. So that was a massive confidence booster for me. So yeah, so, and then from then I basically applied for the IP, so independent prescribing. So I've just finished that. So did the independent prescribing. I've got my TCFA left, which I need to do. I'm doing my clinical placement. And then from there, from the College of Optometrists, I met other people, networking, went to lots of conferences and met lots of people there. So everybody has been so helpful. Then from then on, then I was like, doing the IP. I wanted to,
Placement.
um, I was like, if I'm going to do the IP, I would like to use it. So, which is something that I always wanted to do, which was prescribing. So I basically looked for somewhere to work. So it's just all sort of come from one thing to another, and I got the learning bug as well. I loved learning. It really, like, you know, my brain just felt alive, just learning and stuff. I always said, like I said, I'd been studying for like 7 years, and after that I was like, no more exams, never going to do that again. But just learning and things that has really improved my well-being. And you know and now I've just got that learning bug, and then I basically did leadership course with the LOXU as well. So
Okay. Yeah. So Loxo give you opportunities as well to develop within
yeah,
their
yeah,
structure.
LOXU, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. It's
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
really got into politics. So
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even I didn't know a lot of these things. It's just from one thing to another, speaking from so many people, networking with lots of people, and just being inquisitive and finding out. And I think LinkedIn has been amazing, like really good. Um, you can see what other people have done as well. So, and I think I basically went from this, like, this lady who just, was just doing optometry and just doing a 9 to 5, thinking that this is what my life is going to be like for the rest of my life, to doing all these different things. And it's been like amazing, and it's been so good for my well-being as well. Like, I went from, like, a really, really low period to, not really, just thinking that I was dumb and stupid, and then to,
which obviously you are not, because
yeah, I know that now, but that's what I
but
used
yeah,
to think, and now
yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm not, and it's funny because, like, there's something in your head of yours, and I think for a lot of people, and you just think, and I think as a mum as well, I think sometimes you get caught up in that, like, I'm just a mum and I need to do just the house stuff and look after the kids, and you know, um, and you don't want to take on too much pressure because you're not going to be able to do it, but actually,
I think
it's actually
there's
the other way around.
yeah, I think there's an element of cultural stuff that's
Yeah.
involved in just the way a lot of Indian people think, and traditional roles within the
Yes.
family,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which is changing, but that is changing
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much
Changed
in
a
your
lot. Yeah.
generation.
But I've seen a lot. I'm like, I've seen
It's
a lot
huge.
a lot of mums who have said to me, "I don't think I can do that," and I thought that I couldn't do that with my kids. When I started out on this journey, my kids were 2 and 4, so they were very young, and I basically, I was like, if I don't do this now, I'll never do it. And I think I had some opportunities. I basically had opportunities in the past, and I think I was just like, no, no, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. And then suddenly I was like, I'm going to do this. And from then on, things have just progressed from there, basically. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
from the points that you've said, and you have to take the leap. You can't
Yeah, you do. You can't be scared.
you can't be in a position that you're unhappy with and then expect stuff to fall in your lap.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unless you're
Yeah,
very
yeah,
lucky.
you have to, yeah, if you're not happy, you need to go out there and you need to turn it around.
Yep.
So,
And so I agree with you there. But I think the point that you made, there's a point you made that I, having studied abroad, that I think in this country we are not very good at is conferencing as optometrists. We don't really have a conference culture. Students don't go to, they'll go to 100% maybe just to get a free budgie stick,
yeah,
but they won't actively look to go to, College of the Optometry tomorrow, um, BCLA, all of these fantastic
yeah, things that are
conferences
out
that are
there.
out there that can keep you learning. And
Yeah,
the other thing you meant was networking, because a lot of opportunity comes from people knowing a name, recognizing a face, and then when you and showing interest. So when people are looking for new people to do things, they'll go, well, actually, you know what? I know someone. We met them at whatever, A, B, C, and D, and they were really interested. They were engaging, you know, and they might be a good person for this role. And then roles sort of do come to you. People will approach you and go, actually, you know what, Seema, why don't you
yeah,
go for a college
yeah,
role?
yeah,
We've seen what you can do.
do, yeah,
And then like hospital placements, it's hard to get a hospital job, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
someone
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
actually, you know what, Seema would be good at this. And you may not have done any specialty contact lens work, but they're like,
No,
right,
I've totally, was totally thrown into the deep end for scleral lenses, but I love it. I mean, like, it's actually really funny because when I started the contact lens clinic, they basically got Ian, and Ian, you must know Ian Sexton,
Ian
right?
Sector. Yeah, I know Ian. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I used to work with him in a Vision Express in Lakes. So I'd known him for a good, like, 3 years. I'd been working with him, and in between, like, I'd see him here and there. But it was amazing. Like, it's so funny, like, who you bump into, like, after such a long time. And like, even yourself, like, I was like, oh my God, he used to be my supervisor. So,
Yeah, and I
it
was
is,
a hard supervisor by all accounts, but the mature students got it. They understood why I was
yeah,
doing it the
yeah,
way
yeah,
I did it. The
yeah, yeah,
not so mature students didn't get it. And
yeah.
you know, I mean, it is what it is. But the other point you made was you have the profession is very small, so you have
Yes,
to
it's
be
very
very
simple. Yeah.
careful about the bridges you burn,
Mm,
because you will run into people over and over and over. And you don't necessarily have to like everyone. I'm not saying you have to be everyone's best friend,
friend. Yeah.
but you do have to be a bit careful in terms of professional bridges. And that's the pros and cons of it, because it can really help you in terms of professional development, but it can hinder you if you've burned your bridges in a particularly bad way.
Bad way. Yeah.
Um, and but no, it's specialty contact. I'm going to let you talk because it is about you, but specialty contact lenses is a really interesting one. I don't think optometrists realize how easy it is to get into
Yeah.
specialty contact lenses.
It's actually not that bad. Like, at the start, I was so scared. They were like, "Oh, Seema, you need to do contact lenses and you need to fit sclerals." And I was like, "Okay, am I going to get training?" And they were like, "Yeah." Um, it literally was. I didn't really get that much training. Like, it was not like I've had to learn it on the job. And to be honest, I'm still learning. But the challenge that you get outside of community is totally different. Like, so I'm still doing what I do as a community optometrist, and I love doing that too. But having that, like, going back to the whole portfolio career, is that to have that variety on other days just makes the world a difference. Even if, like, advice for other optometrists is that even if you don't want to leave your comfortable job, we all get comfortable. It's just, it's natural to feel like scared to leave, reduce your days, think about doing something different, maybe take a course, even just doing a course on one of your days that you're not working makes a world of difference. You're doing something different. That um, you know, you're developing yourself. And I think that's in itself is a sense of achievement. And even if it's not within optometry, things like, voluntary work, or community work, like myself, I'm very passionate about my culture. And, you know, that was a reason why I set up this Hindu community. We've done loads of stuff like the Diwali event, Garba event, and it's been really nice to help. Even if it's not within optometry, find that passion and do it, because the sense of achievement that you get out of it is just amazing. It feels so good. I even going to just helping out at the school, anything really. It's just like, it's just really good. Really, if you're struggling and you feel like a bit stuck in a rut, those are the sort of things that you can do.
I, I I think that's a lovely message. I think you got to go and if you have something that you're passionate about that's not necessarily optometry or eye related, seek it out. Um,
Yeah,
a really interesting point that Nick made last week, a couple of weeks ago, was, you know what? Sometimes you have to take a step back professionally. So you may have to go for a professional role that maybe doesn't pay as much. All right. But
yeah.
in terms of job satisfaction, it gives you something that which is actually worth way more in the grand scheme of things. And you have to put yourself out there
Mm.
to
Yeah,
make
you
those
do.
changes. Without putting yourself out there, life, you can just sit in your comfort zone. And I think a lot of optometrists, I think most optometrists are actually quite smart,
Yeah, we
and
are. We are really smart.
you don't
We do everything. I mean, like, I went on the lead when I did the leadership course. That really made me realize lots of things about myself and what we do as optometrists. We are leaders. We are doing so many different things. You're doing business, you're doing clinical, you're counseling, you're mentoring. There's a whole load of skills that an optometrist does. But I think sometimes, we're not given the credit that we deserve sometimes. And I think that's why a lot of optometrists sometimes do feel a bit like, what is this? And, at the end of the day, I think I had to do something to turn it around, because I was at a low, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. And, just improving like my career development has improved me as a person. And, I feel so much more happier, and it's improved my well-being as well.
fantastic.
I think learning and development is like definitely
So you have
something
to
to
keep growing. You definitely have to keep growing. Yeah. Right. So we've literally, we're about to crack 40 minutes actually. So we've been flying. So you did really well. I am going to ask you one more question, and it's a question I'll ask everyone. If you had like one piece of advice, right, to give actually, no, it doesn't matter what career you're in. You've had a couple of careers which are not optometry related, right? With your candy striping and working for big pharma. If you had one piece of advice, right, that you could give someone career wise, what would it be? Is there something that really stands out?
So I definitely would say follow your passion, and don't be scared. Definitely network for sure, and keep learning. I think learning is key. And no matter how good you think you are, there's always something that you'll need to learn. And just I think, yeah, just don't be scared, and don't be afraid to ask questions and be inquisitive. And don't be afraid to step out of the zone as well, because there is another side to optometry. And yeah, it's really exciting. I love being an optometrist now. I went from being like optometry is rubbish to like I love it. So
Yeah.
it's really good
Amazing.
now.
That is actually a perfect way to end. Very positive note. So thanks for taking the time, Seema. I know you're busy and we've had to reschedule because of bits and pieces on both sides. So I will hopefully catch up with you at some point soon. Thank you very much. So lovely to
Thanks a lot. Thanks for
thank you
having
for
me
sharing
on your
time.
show.
Yeah, you're
Take
welcome.
care.
See ya.